All right, so yesterday I did lightweight body exercises. Today I want to switch it up. I want to only do deadlifts and then legs. I was thinking about doing squats, but funny enough, I actually had a dream that I was working out in this situation, and I ended up doing leg presses. So, do dreams really have any significance other than just randomness in your brain? I still think you have to make significance out of your dreams, but I'm gonna follow that just for fun. One thing I heard yesterday that really summarizes where I'm at in life yesterday is don't be overly regimented, just be disciplined. What that means to me is, like, I was spending so much time on like what regimen I need to follow, like cold water as soon as I wake up, and then after a while it started to get a little stale, or I have to do the carnivore diet, and after 2 weeks it was like I'm missing seasoning other than salt. That would be pretty cool. And what about fruit? Fruit was great. And even my video yesterday kind of had this rebellious feel to it of people always told me I need to do this, I should do that, don't work out twice a day, don't do this. And it's like, I want to get better at just being disciplined, which is almost like just doing the right thing, because having discipline is the highest form of self-care. My girlfriend told me that yesterday, and I'm very grateful that she's dialed in and on the same wave. And so still have that self-care, but don't be so regimented, and more just follow my gut on like what I want to do. And so I will say I did kind of have an idea of what I wanted to do today last night, but we're gonna follow it today with listening to my body. You know what? Listening to my body, I need to stretch. I haven't stretched, so how about before we do deadlifts and leg press, I think it's easy for me to just hop on like a stair stepper for 5 minutes and then go straight to it. We're gonna get some stretches in first, and then we'll do deadlift. So it's like stretches, deadlifts, and leg press. And for the leg press, what I want to do is, instead of counting reps, I almost want to count seconds of like time under tension for my muscles. An idea that I had, let's try that out. For deadlifts, we are going to be doing reps for that. That's going to be my like powerlifting side coming out. My grip strength is so weak because I just don't really do deadlifts like that anymore. And so we're going to pick that back up, touch some good weight. I always think I'm cold, and then I see people running in like shorts or with their shirts off, and I'm like, you gotta stay hard. One thing I will say is a lot of people that running in shorts, they always have beanies on. And that's a pro tip I learned recently of how crucial it is to, if you want to stay warm, where you have to cover your hands, feet, and head. I actually was doing cold plunges at a Korean spa. And by the way, if you haven't heard of a Korean spa, it's interesting. Look it up yourself, but I'll just say essentially what it is just a ton of different hot tubs, saunas, and cold plunges all in one place. And some of the hot tub or some of the saunas are like, don't really make sense. Some of them are like gold saunas where the room's like covered in gold, and like there's some of it that's like a little woo. But at the end of the day, it does have like just hot tubs and cold plunges that are at like high and low temperatures. Anyway, the guy in there, one guy says he hits it like 3 times a week, and was saying that, covering your head to your left, covering your head, feet, and hands will keep you warm. And now that I've been doing cold plunges, I've been getting recommended other people that do cold plunges, and you'll see some of them will, in the cold plunge, wear like socks, gloves, and a hat. And it's like, bro, if you're wearing socks during your cold plunge, like, bro, that sounds worse than the cold plunge. But you're about to get your socks wet. I think I'd rather just be cold. This gym is literally one of like the coolest spaces, but the thing is with my membership, I have to get here before 8 a.m. or else I can't go until after 5 p.m. So it's almost a good thing. It's almost like you have to be dialed to get in this gym. But if you are dialed, it pays off with just like such a cool space in your day. So anyway, stretching is something I normally don't do, and it's something I always tell myself I'm gonna do and do better. I feel like stretches are so like anticlimactic. I guess life has to be anticlimactic sometimes. Because if life was always climatic, that reminds me of something I learned from Rick Rubin and Tim Ferriss yesterday. He was talking about sometimes creatively, if you're in a rut, the best way to shake it up or change things up is to do the opposite of what you're known for, what you normally do. That the concept is like, sometimes the best way to describe the darkness in the cave is to step outside of the cave and go into the light, because then you build new vocabulary to describe the cave. And Rick Rubin's example was an artist he trained who usually is known for like heavy, dark, death music. He's like, how about you try the exact opposite and make something completely like light and joyful? And he's like, you may not like the result, but when you return back to the thing that you normally do, you'll have a whole new approach to it. And I feel like that's why I was so energized and so attentive to my morning yesterday, my morning routine, because I haven't been waking up in the morning. So when I had that whole morning experience, I was like it was like seeing like morning for the first time, and it felt so good. And so there's almost something to be said about if you love doing something, you almost have to take a step back so that you can come back and see it from that new lens, from that outside perspective. I never know if this stretch does anything. Look, stretches are not my strong point. This is something else I would love more guidance on, is stretching. Apparently there's like stretch labs in Houston. Someone just told me there's like stretch labs, or no, stretch bars. There's stretch bars. It's like, look, I'm not really going to bars anymore, but a stretch bar, that I'll do. That sounds dope. I could use that. All right, going into this first set, I'm still kind of rusty. This warm-up's feeling like a lot slower. Like this is taking a lot longer than just the body weight. So noted. But let's get right into it. First warm-up set. Yeah, that first set of deadlifts, like your hands are just like, they're beat up instantly. Also, you'll notice that for my grip, I'll go alternating grip. This always used to help me lift a lot heavier. This would like prevent my grips from going out. But does this lead to long-term muscle imbalance? Maybe, but it works. So I don't have a goal, like a weight in mind. I think my goal is to hit 5 working sets and just keep putting the weight up a little bit. So we'll count this as the first working set. Maybe something like a 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, like a pyramid. Yeah, my grip's gonna go first on this. I guess that was part of my goal though, was to get that grip strength back. Also, it feels kind of weird deadlifting in this jumpsuit. All right, so we're gonna try to go up by 25s and down 2 reps each time. So if that was 225 for 10, we'll go 275 for 8. That sounds like a big jump, but let's try it. All right, we hit it, but I'm literally holding on for dear life. So in my head, I'm like, all right, should I push to 5 reps? Should I keep it at 6? It's like, all right, that's only 1 rep. Let's just try to test the grip strength. That's really what's given out here. I'm about to hit 375. I haven't touched this in a while, but like energy's feeling a little low. They do have Pink Panthers playing, so I'm a little pumped up, but I haven't, just like waking up and like doing these morning workouts and I'm like starting with deadlifts, it feels like just such a change up from like my normal brainwave activity. We're definitely switching it up for the better. So we're gonna hit this for 3 reps. And let's change up those brain waves and grip strength. Although I know that like physically, you can take off 2 plates at a time, but every time I take off more than 1 plate, I'm always like expecting it to just, we're dropping the weight, going back down, it is 225. Let's hit it for a good like 10 to 12 reps and just end off there for a burnout instead of, yeah, like we touched the heavy weight, we touched it for the day, that's it. Just wanted to touch it. We'll go back to, you know, just a little burnout. What's crazy, deadlifts is another thing people told me to stop doing. My bodybuilding friend Jude
was like, yeah, bro, deadlifts aren't it. And it was actually my girlfriend who got me back into them. I'm like, yeah, I could do deadlifts. And then I realized I'm so much weaker than I used to be when I was powerlifting. So it feels good to be back at powerlift, to be back at deadlifts. It is something I enjoyed doing. I think maybe not going so heavy, probably a good thing, but not at first. Not when it's your first time and not when it's your first time in months. And the last time I did deadlift with my girlfriend, it was at a Planet Fitness on a Smith machine. So yeah, say no more. I'm not joking. I was this close to setting off that lunk alarm. And if you don't know what a lunk alarm is, Google lunk alarm Planet Fitness. It's like a bell they have for people that grunt when they lift. When I was there, it went off like twice and no one even did anything. So it's kind of a weird, like, make the grunters feel bad with the lunk alarm, but I get it. You know, I get it. Good news, this leg press machine is probably like the coolest view in the house, like video framing wise. So whenever I go heavy on stuff though, I do like to go light on the opposite. That's like it's a good technique used in powerlifting. Like if you're gonna do bench, squat, and deadlift or any big movements in the same workout, like go heavy on one, but then go light on the other. So goal here is really just to focus on time, like muscle under tension time. Start off with a warm up. So you're gonna go slow down, explode up and hold. Slow down, explode up and hold. The one thing I love doing with leg press is supersetting it with calves. It's like one of the most coolest efficient exercises. So when you're done, first off, lock the weight so it doesn't go back down on you, safety first. But then match however many reps you did with calf raises. And I gotta remember even myself to on the calf raises, hold at the top, slowly back down, stretch. This is a fun superset to do. If you're new to supersets, this is a great one to start off with. Supersets definitely push you mentally. And so this is a good ease into it. I'm feeling pretty good about this workout because it took me about 1 hour, almost exactly. I think it's like exactly an hour. Deadlifts, stretches, and leg press, like that sounds efficient. Last set, and done good form. I feel like when it comes to re-racking weights, the leg press machine is so easy to like not re-rack. Because it's like, oh, someone's gonna need weights on here. If I think about this, if this were my gym, I guess I would want the weights re-racked. Even if someone does need to put these back on, one, you don't want to assume someone's going to put on the 45s because 45s aren't easy to carry. Two, it's just a good feeling when you walk up to a machine, there's nothing on it, and you put on each weight yourself. All right, so for this workout, stretches, heavy deadlifts, light leg press, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 in terms of enjoyability. Maybe it's because I was just rusty going into the deadlifts and felt a little bit slower. Maybe it's because I ego lifted one of my deadlift sets, but 6 out of 10 for enjoyability. I felt like it was a little like going from nothing into I felt like rust. And then I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10 in terms of how hard it was. The fact that you're doing deadlifts and leg press in the same workout. If you're going all in on those sets, I feel like you can make it an 8 out of 10. Like if you go all out like I did, like going as heavy as you could on the deadlifts, that makes it an 8 out of 10. If you were to go like lighter weights and just go through the movements, I feel like it would be a 6 out of 10 just because it's 2 exercises. So you kind of have that flexibility. The workout took an hour overall. Great workout. I think, talking about like you have to leave the cave if you want to be able to re-enter it and describe how dark it is, to have language to do that and realize. I feel like this morning workout is another example of that with like hitting deadlifts, not on a Smith machine for the first time in probably like half a year. Reminds me of just how good deadlifts are for your not only for your forearms, but also just like to be a little bit more powerful. I feel like it's a great way to build your power. And then leg press machine, classic, love to see it. I literally dreamed about this last night. We made it a reality. Feeling blessed.